So in this video, we're going to be looking at Cinema Studio 2, which just released on Higgsfield. And we have covered Cinema Studio 1.0 when it first dropped. I think that was the first video we ever did on Higgsfield. And then we also covered Cinema Studio 1.5. So I'll just play you a clip that we made when we were covering the previous Cinema Studio. And then I'll also play you a clip that I made last night with the new Cinema Studio 2.0. And then after that, we'll get into how to use Cinema Studio 2.0 and all the cool features and the new workflow that we can use with this new setup. Okay, so let's get into it. To actually use Cinema Studio 2.0, we need to click on Cinema Studio up here in the menu. By the way, there's a lot of other stuff you also have here on Higgsfield, like there's a bunch of different image models and image tools. And we also have a lot of different video models and video tools. And soon we're going to have CDance 2.0, which I'm really excited for. But yeah, let's head to Cinema Studio 2.0 here. Okay, so in here we have the standard layout that we had in the previous versions. But if we head into the video section down here, we're going to see some new things. So firstly, they've added the ability to add elements into our video right here. So this was available for quite a while in other video models, but now we have that in Cinema Studio, which is really great because in Cinema Studio, we get really cinematic outputs better than almost any video model I've seen separately in the video tab right here. And yeah, we get to control the movements here. We have different camera movements that we can control from here, which we've seen in previous versions of this. But now they've also added this speed ramp right here. So with the speed ramp, we can select different things, like we can select how fast the video will be at certain points of the video. And yeah, I'm just going to show you an example of this. So here we have speed up. So this is like a speed ramp you'd see in video editing. So for example, you start off in kind of slow motion, and then towards the end of the video, you get faster and faster. But yeah, I'm going to play you a few clips of different videos that were generated using different speed ramp settings here. So now that you've seen how speed ramps work, for the duration here, we can go all the way up to 12 seconds. I usually stick to 5 seconds first, and if I get a good output, then I switch it up to 12 seconds. But for this demo, let's just keep it at 12 seconds. And yeah, all the rest of the stuff are basically the same as normal. There's a few different new stuff that we'll see once we generate the first clip here. But firstly, let's head back into the images tab right here. So as I said before, there's not really anything new here, but there is something new with the images that we generate. So I'm just going to type out a quick prompt here. I'm just going to get an image of a superhero. Okay, so for the aspect ratio, we can go 16:9 here, which is what I prefer. Or you can go 21:9, which is a bit more cinematic. But the reason why I always choose 16:9 is because it's just a standard aspect ratio and it fits better with other tools that I use. So it's better to just use the default 16:9 in my opinion. For you, you may want a different resolution here, or maybe 9:16 if you're doing mobile. But yeah, then we select the quality, so it can be 1K, 2K, or 4K. 2K is fine for most cases. The only reason you're going to go 4K is if you want ultra high, which 2K will give you as well, so there's no real point to it. And then we're going to do a grid here. So for grids, we have 1x1, 2x2, up to 4x4. And this is basically how you do multi-shot now. So if we select a 4x4, it will give us a 4x4 grid of different images. And then we can select the best image that we want out of there and upscale it. Now for this tutorial, I'm just going to keep it simple and stick to 1x1. And yeah, let's just hit generate here. Okay, so we've got an image here of it looks like Superman. And there's one thing I forgot to mention before we generated this image, and that's the different camera settings we can choose down here. So by clicking on this button down here, we can choose the camera that we want to use. I'm just going to stick to the default one that I've been using so far. And then we can also choose the different lenses here. So if you're really into cameras and you know what each of these settings do, which honestly I don't really know myself, yeah, you can customize that to do exactly what you need it to do. You can even change the aperture here, which I'm just going to leave at the default settings I had before. And we can also save the setup to use later. So if you need to use multiple setups, you can save the one you want here. There's also now a recommended tab that will give you the recommended settings to do what you need to do. And yeah, now let's head into the video section right here. So firstly, before we do that, we need to click on animate right here to move this image into the video tab. So I'm going to do that. And as you can see, it's here in the video tab. Now, also, before we start generating our video, in the image right here, we have a create 3D scene here. So if I click on this, it's going to give us an image that looks basically exactly the same as the one we just gave it. But there's actually something special about this. And as you can see down here, it says it's a 3D scene. So if we click on this, it's going to open this up, kind of like a video game. We can move around with WASD, and we use the mouse to kind of rotate the camera. And why this is useful is we can reposition the camera in real time using this 3D scene and then generate an image from there. So yeah, let's just wait for this to load. Okay, so now we're in the scene. Everything looks a bit weird right now, but it's just a preview. So all we need to do from here is position the camera and that's it. And I know this looks a bit weird and it's glitching a lot, but again, this is just a preview. The actual image will only come when we click the button down here. So let's get this image right here. And let's close this and wait for that image to generate. Okay, and as you can see, it generated that image exactly where we placed the camera in the 3D scene. And now we can just head into the video tab right here and select our new image that we just generated here. And now we have our starting image and our end frame, which is just loading down here. And we can see the camera slowly zooms in. And let's try out one of these speed ramp motions down here. Now what I'm looking for is not a speed up, so I don't want it to start out slow and then go fast. I want the opposite to happen, so it should start out fast, zooming into him, and then towards the end of the video it should slow down when it gets to the position that we want. So I'm just going to hit generate here. We're going to leave the duration at 12 seconds. So yeah, now the video is done loading, and there is one thing I forgot to mention before we started generating this. And that's down here. If you select where it says single shot, we now have the option for multi-shot or multi-shot manual. And if you've used models like Kling before, you know that when you select multi-shot, it doesn't just do a straightforward from image 1 to image 2 video. You get cuts in between the video from different angles and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely check that out. But for this particular video, I think it's fine with just a single shot going from frame 1 to the end frame here. And yeah, now I'll just play you this clip that we generated, and I'm also going to play a few clips that demonstrate how much emotion you can get out of this tool. And yeah, this has been Higgsfield Cinema Studio 2.0. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Congratulations, you've reached the end. Your reward, the sacred like button. Smash it.